excellent day for an exorcism.
The Exorcist.
Yes, The Exorcist. That's the great trailer for The Exorcist. And that's Percy Rodriguez's. That's one of the best trailer narrators. Exorcist released in 1973, right after Christmas, December 26th, 1973, release date of The Exorcist, which has become, hands down, the most famous, certainly the most famous devil-connected satanic film, demon possession film, and just one of the most respected, popular, profitable horror films of all time. And unlike most horror films, I'd say the great majority, it was nominated for many Oscars and it won 2 Academy Awards. The movie won for Best Sound design for the amazing special effects, amazing sound effects. And William Peter Blatty, the novelist, the author of the novel and one of the movie's producers, he won for Best Adapted Screenplay. So then, why is The Exorcist, the movie, that pop cultural, juggernaut? I mean, The Exorcist, if you haven't seen The Exorcist, you're a rare bird, right? You're a rare animal. If you've seen it, you either love or hate, or certainly I don't think there's a mid-ground. There's not a middle ground with The Exorcist. You either really love it, really scared by it, moved by it, or you didn't care for it. So, but even for those who don't enjoy it or don't, haven't seen it, it is one of those sort of pop cultural touchstones that once you say, The Exorcist or, exorcism or, Reagan or pea soup vomit or head spitting, all these things from the film, everybody has a connection. Everyone knows what you're talking about. And what the book, the novel, and then the film brought into the, sort of modern consciousness and conversation was exorcism. What exactly is an exorcism? So I fiddled and poked around the great Google machine, of course, in AI, and this is what I found, of course. What is an exorcism? I just asked. An exorcism is a religious or spiritual ritual performed to remove an evil or malevolent entity or spirit that is believed to have possessed this person, an object, or place. It's typically performed by a priest, a shaman, or other spiritual practitioner who has been trained in the art of exorcism. So really right there in the film, of course, it was 2 priests, right? Father Karras and Father Damien. And Karras, of course, was the sort of, how can we say it? The novice, and maybe even almost like a non-believer. While Father Damien was this veteran exorcist. He had been around the block more than once. He not only did these exorcisms, but he knew what it was, the stakes. He knew the good versus evil spiritual stakes. So yes, I mean, Max von Sydow, the actor playing Father Merrin, he knew that this was something, if not checked, if not, pursued, it would destroy a family, certainly destroy Reagan, the girl, destroy this child, destroy the mother, destroy the whole, family unit. He knew what price to pay. And I think no matter how much you believe or don't believe in supernatural, the other world, the other side, God and the devil, you do realize everyone has to be in agreement that if it's just a mental illness, if this, in this case, this girl, this, in the movie, in the book, and the film, Reagan, if she is being possessed by a mental illness, then if it's just something emotional or genetic or mental, then it's going to be destructive nonetheless. If it is some sort of supernatural demonic possession, then it's also going to be destructive and mean perhaps the end of that family unit. She'll have to be committed to an insane asylum or a mental hospital, or maybe even a prison if she became violent. Maybe she would have to have a lobotomy back then, or shock treatments or something that would be completely sort of erasing her identity and her the relationship with her mom, with that connection would be completely destroyed. So no matter what you think about the sort of phenomena of the exorcism, of what an exorcism is, that it's destructive nonetheless. So it goes on to say that exorcisms are most commonly associated with the Christian faith, particularly the Roman Catholic Church, but they are also found in other religious and spiritual traditions. It usually offers prayer, holy water, sacred objects, as well as specific incantations and gestures intended to drive out the possessing entity. And of course, that's what we see in the film. They use holy water, crucifix, their rosary beads and their raiments as priests, as practicing, Catholic priests, shamans in other cultures, clerics, monks, wherever, you are in the world, or whatever your religion is, you have someone that's the symbol, right? The iconic symbol and symbolic of your faith and your belief system. And it finishes by saying exorcism is controversial. Exorcism is a very controversial and often viewed with skepticism by the mainstream science and medicine of the day. However, for those who believe in the existence of malevolent spirits and possession, exorcism can be a powerful tool for restoring the balance and harmony to the affected person or place. And again, there's another way of looking at it. Even if you don't believe, even if you think the entire thing is bunk, it is something that is affecting that family or that community. So you've got to address it in some way. Therapy, drugs, or bring in your priests, your rabbis, your shamans, your clerics, and have a go and see if that'll help. And finally, what's really interesting is everybody knows, of course, you've seen it. You certainly know of it if you haven't seen the film, that Reagan is a girl, is a young girl child. But in the reality of where they got the inspiration, where William Peter Blatty, the author of the novel, got his inspiration, it was a boy. Roland Doe was also known as Robbie Mannheim, was the pseudonym given to the boy who was the subject of an alleged exorcism in the United States. The events surrounding Roland Doe's exorcism are said to have been the inspiration for the novel and subsequent movie, The Exorcist. So, according to this, he was a 14-year-old boy from Maryland. He began experiencing strange and violent behavior in 1949. The family brought in a Catholic priest, and they performed several exorcisms on the boy over a period of many weeks. The boy's behavior was said to become even more violent, but then, after several weeks of the exorcism rituals, the boy was said to have been freed of the possessing entity, and his behavior returned to normal. So again, you could say, well, maybe it was all in his head. Maybe it was mental. Maybe it was, some sort of genetic trip or familial behavior or dysfunction. But you think as a 14-year-old, well, certainly 14-year-olds, certainly teens, preteens, and teens have a lot of angst, a lot of growing pains. So if you want to even look at it that way, you could say, maybe it wasn't a spirit, maybe it wasn't a devil, but there was, the puberty, the onset of all these conflicting emotions and the rage of the sort of hormonal soup that we all go through the teens and puberty and those hormonal changes. Maybe that was the reason. But of course, the witnesses of the time, this wasn't that long ago. This was 1949. So you're not talking about the Dark Ages. And so the witnesses that saw this behavior firsthand, to them, it was something to really bring in an exorcist and bring in, the philosophical, the spiritual, the religious powers that be. So we'll see. I heard they're going to make another Exorcist. I think they're going to finally remake the original novel, which to me is a real mistake. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they, rethink that, because it's one thing to do prequels and sequels, but I don't think you can get that much better in the original. Thank you guys for subscribing. If you have not, to Sci-Fi Guy, it's free. You can just tap on the subscribe button, and we'll see you soon.